Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Sawicki. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Cryoport Systems. Our talk today is going to be focused around data connectivity solutions to address cellular network evolution for the regenerative medicine space. Just a little bit of a primer around Cryoport and Cryoport Systems prior to the discussion. So Cryoport Inc. itself is an operating holding company, which constitutes four different entities. Cryoport Systems, which is the entity we'll be discussing today, Cryogene, CryoPDP, as well as MVE Biological Solutions, all of which support the overall global initiative of comprehensive supply chain solutions for the regenerative medicine space. So Cryoport Systems itself is the global leader of temperature-controlled supply chain solutions for the regenerative medicine space. We currently support over 561 clinical programs, 8 commercial programs, over 2,000 active clients, including our sister companies on a global basis. We're very robust from a growth perspective. Our Q2 revenue is $56.2 million, and we're growing at an annual growth rate of around 55%. In addition, we supported in our entire network over 1 million shipments over the last 12 months. So Cryoport has been very active in building out a global supply chain infrastructure. And this constitutes the entire Cryoport Inc. network, including Cryoport Systems, CryoPDP, MVE Biological Solutions, and Cryogene. You can see we've been very active around continuing to expand that network, and we focused on 3 primary areas. One is equipment and infrastructure. The second is informatics and data, and the third is transportation. And all of these are really focused around establishing a single point of contact in support of any handling, storage, or distribution related requirements for the space, and ensuring that product can go from patient to manufacturing to storage back to patient seamlessly under one umbrella. So in conjunction with this, supply chain continuity requirement, one of the areas that we wanted to bring to attention to the space is data connectivity. Now, data connectivity is an area that does not get a lot of attention. However, it is something that is a critical consideration for the market moving forward, and it's something that will have significant impacts on supply chain strategies coming into 2022, and it's something that we wanted to discuss with the industry as a whole. So the real issue here is the fact that the vast majority of North America will be winding down their 2G, 3G networks in February of 2022. Now, why is this an issue? This is an issue because the plurality of data loggers that are being used for near real-time track and trace for geolocation and temperature associated with chain of custody and chain of condition operate on a 2G, 3G platform. So the wind down of this particular platform, the 2G, 3G platform in North America, is going to create an issue where the vast majority of these units that are currently in circulation are not going to function in a traditional data logger sense. They will move from more of an active mode to a passive mode. And we need to address this by moving and launching new platforms that support 4G LTE and 5G platforms from a data continuity standpoint in order to address this. This is compounded by a couple of issues. Number one is the 4G LTE units that are currently in development. The vast majority of these are being impacted by supply chain chip shortages that you've seen on a whole. You can see this as evident in the auto industry at this point in time. And they're seeing delays for as much as 72 weeks to get chipsets that will go into these units and support the new product offerings that are being launched by many folks. Secondly, is obviously, as we've mentioned, the 2G, 3G equipment that is currently in function will no longer function effectively as a proactive real-time data logger as of February 2022. And there's also a significant inventory availability issue due to the current chips shortage and supply chain issues where existing data logger companies are indicating major delays for any new LG 4G LTE unit that's being launched. So what we're seeing here is if you look at the current global networks today, you can see here every country that's outlined either in red or green is currently supported by the existing infrastructure of these 2G, 3G platforms that are currently on the market. However, if you look outwards after February 2022, the U.S. is, as we said, sunsetting its 2G, 3G platforms, and so this is already actively in process. However, it will become acute as of February of next year, and those units will no longer proactively communicate and be able to relay information through the cellular networks in the United States. So we're actually already seeing this issue occur in the marketplace, and most of the predominant manufacturers in the market are seeing data continuity, connectivity, and continuity issues, reporting issues, data gaps, and other things. And you can see this is evident by some of the 2G, 3G coverage maps as of September 10th, which is today. You can see that the vast majority of these networks have already transitioned over to the 4G, 5G networks. There's very limited 2G, 3G connectivity remaining. You can see a little bit here on the lower left-hand side for the Philadelphia area, which the 3G units are shown in green. And you can see, obviously, there's very limited cell tower connectivity in some of these other major metropolitan areas. And that's why there's been a manifestation of these data gap issues, that have been continuously increasing over 2021. However, like I had mentioned, this is going to come to a head in February of next year. So, companies that are supporting distribution using a near real time or real time data logger need to take this into account and have alternative options to be able to address this and ensure that they have their chain of custody and chain of condition information available after February of next year. So Cryoport has been very proactively working on options to support next generation technologies to address this particular issue. And we have actually been progressing 3 alternative platforms in support of a 4G LTE slash 2G, 3G fallback product offering for data communication. We call these our SmartPack 3, SmartPack 4, and Skytrax platforms. All of these platforms are fully integrated into our current CryoPortal and LiveView display infrastructure. However, each of these have different competencies and capabilities. The SmartPack 3 is a continuity of the existing SmartPack 2, just the new unit with a 4G LTE chipset that supports the new connectivity. However, fundamentally, every other functionality is the same as the current SmartPack 2 unit, which is also in use by many others throughout the cell and gene space on a global basis. SmartPack 4 is a new device from an alternative manufacturer that has the 4G LTE backup as well as 2G, 3G on a fallback basis. And both of these have all of the traditional geolocation, temperature, orientation, shock, and other connectivity that the market is expecting from a support standpoint. However, the primary difference of the SmartPack 4 devices right now is we have adequate inventory to replace all of the 2G, 3G units in our entire organization immediately because they've already been manufactured and are sitting on the shelf. Whereas the SmartPack 3 device, which is the next generation, those have not initiated manufacturing yet due to the chipset issues that we talked about earlier. And then thirdly, as we've been developing our own next generation Skytrax platform, and this platform has numerous advantages and improvements over both the SmartPack 3 and the SmartPack 4 platform as it relates to connectivity and communication into our next generation of smart devices and packaging, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And we anticipate this being available in production quantities in early Q1 of 2022. So we've made a commitment to ensure for the entire industry continuous data continuity in conjunction with chain of custody, chain of condition, and chain of compliance requirements, which tie into ISO 21973. we've been working aggressively to accelerate the delivery of three different redundant data technology solutions to build in that redundancy and resiliency to make sure the market has availability for near real-time data collection and management after that February 2022 2G, 3G sunsetting in North America. We're currently working with current suppliers as well as our own development to onboard these new units and to manage manufacturing delays. And we've accelerated the development of both the SmartPack 4 and the Skytrax platforms to accommodate this particular timeline, so that the industry as a whole has the ability to be able to have continuity of service and be able to effectively distribute critical clinical and commercial therapies throughout the world. So we, as a call to action that we want to call out to the industry, is that all clinical and commercial programs need to have an effective strategy to address this critical issue now. This cannot wait 12 months. This cannot wait 6 months. This is something that needs to be addressed concurrently and needs to be developed to support the Q1 2022 timeline associated with that 2G, 3G wind down. So we do have the ability to proactively onboard all three solutions for our current and future clients with full implementation by the end of Q1 2022 to ensure continuous ability to support our existing and our future clients' clinical and commercial portfolios. However, we need to ensure that the organizations are proactive in validating and onboarding these new platforms so that they have the ability to seamlessly transition from one platform into another. I just wanted to wind up the discussion just talking a little bit around some next generation technologies that we're developing. So the first, which we mentioned, is our Skytrax platform. And so this is a smart data logger. It goes beyond an active data logger. It not only just sends information into a central server network that looks at things like geolocation and temperature and other things, but it also can receive information. So it can reprogram an e-ink display that's going to be available in the future that will be able to display things like airway bills, commercial invoices, and other things that can be remotely uploaded into the platform to address any missing paperwork or other critical issues for things like customs release and other aspects along those lines. However, it's also going to have a tremendous amount of flexibility, right? So it will have the 4G LTE network as well as the 2G backup. It has triple redundant data memory storage capabilities to eliminate any lost sensor location data. And so it's stored and distributed in three different systems. It also has a digital temperature display on the unit with exception notification for visual notification without having to go into a software system to do that confirmation. It will have a best-in-class battery life performance, and it will be able to long-term control equipment on a smart manner for things like security access and other things along those lines. So it will truly be a next-generation device. And this just shows you a little bit more information around some of the upcoming technology enhancements that this new platform will enable. You can see as part of the smart device, it will have things like temperature display, the ability to display airway bills, temperature exceptions, critical instructions, as well as securitization and serialization of equipment, as well as potentially commodity that is put inside. And so it is truly a next generation device. And this device will be married into our next generation of packaging technology that will support the industry moving forward. So this is one example of what we call our Cryosphere. And this is a proprietary custom design LN2 dry vapor shipper that is gravitationally oriented. So it does not matter how it's placed into an aircraft or into a vehicle. It will always remain upright. It will have a best-in-class hold time. It will have the ability to absorb shock. It'll fit on narrow body aircraft. It has really ergonomically appropriate design. The outer packaging itself has been custom designed. It's very robust. It's an ability to go through full validated cleaning process. It has built-in wheels and handles, and it is been built with transportation accommodation in mind for things like ensuring that it fits on narrow body aircraft, for example. And as we had mentioned, it is and will be fully integrated with the new Skytrax platform. It will also have back connectivity with the other two connectivity platforms for SmartPack 3 and SmartPack 4 as well. So in summary, cellular carriers will be sunsetting all 2G, 3G service in North America by the end of February of 2022. All existing data logger devices, or the plurality of them that are currently being used in this space, will no longer function in a proactive manner. They will become a passive unit. And chip shortages are compounding the challenge of bringing these new 4G LTE units online from the existing manufacturers. So we're proactively implementing three concurrent solutions to address this critical issue, two of which will be launched prior to that sunsetting phase in February of 2022. And we've designed these devices to be seamlessly integrated with our next generation packaging, or smart packaging as we're calling it, over time. And these will all be integrated into our comprehensive supply chain. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a great afternoon. Thank you very much.